Hey guys, welcome back to my second YouTube video. I've got Miss Chloe in here, my little Borky. So yeah, she's gonna be tagging along today for a little home gym workout. I have squats and bench on the menu. My plan for today is to take y'all through my squats, what I do for warm-ups, technique, really the whole 9 yards. So what's the secret to Amanda Lawrence's squat? That's what I'm known for, and I'm gonna give you the inside scoop for it. So, you know, come along and I'll show you. Like warm-up wise, I do a lot of foam rolling, just, you know, pretty much getting my back loose, my legs, hips, glutes, and then I use pretty much a hip circle, get my hips even more loosened up, do a lot of like monster blocks, like air squats, and then other than that, just really getting my shoulders loose. So I have a few bands actually. I just got, so I just, a lot of like behind the head type movement, really nothing special. I like taking big jumps, both for squat and deadlift, just because I'm trying to conserve as much energy as possible. By the time I'm able to, I guess, hit my top set, I'll do more reps with lighter weight. That's the general trend. As we get heavier, I'll start doing like singles or doubles just to try to conserve energy. I'll take my last warm-up beltless at like 440, 450 pounds. And then after that, jump to around 500 and throw my belt on there. So like I said, this number has kind of changed, but I recommend beltless training, at least for warm-ups, for a lot of people, just to try to build up your core, because a strong core means you're going to be, you know, you're more stable. Honestly, squats are probably the biggest core building exercise that you can do. That's why I don't do like, I guess like really ab rollers or leg raises outside of any of this. Just because, like I said, squats are really going to work your core, and the stronger your core is, the more stable you're going to be, and overall just tighter, stronger with it. So another factor that plays into squats is descent speed, right? So I used to train on non-calibrated plates. Now I still train on calibrated plates. The weight's going to stack more towards the center of your body, I guess, and they're not going to whip as much. I descend with a pretty good pace, and with pound, some of us say pound, but it's really just non-calibrated plates. Since they stack out further on the bar, there's gonna be more whip with it, and that's in turn going to help carry you up, give you some momentum coming up. So when I was training on those non-calibrated plates before, my squat numbers were a little bit higher than as to when I switched over to these calibrated plates. And the reason behind that is because I don't get that whip, I don't get that, I guess, acceleration up out of the hole anymore. So 600 has been like a number that I've been like trying to hit for a while now. On calibrated plates, my best squat right now is like 573 pounds. And you pretty much have to just take 5 pounds as a victory after a certain point, kind of once you like get up there and weight, I guess for what's like your body size and whatnot. But that's something that I've really been like trying to hit, and like that's like I guess my biggest goal right now to like hit in a competition. I wouldn't say that's like my capping point, because I guess I train with the mentality like, you know, like we're pushing limits, like there really is no limit. I don't know what that cap point is, and I guess you can't have a mentality like that just because you know, you have to set the goals high. But that's like, I guess, my biggest goal right now for squat, I guess, as well as for deadlift. Deadlift's a little bit closer to 600, but man, 5 rep plates would look so cool to me. You really have to like take into consideration when you're training on non-calibrated plates, like the whip that's going to come about it. So when you come in a meet, especially once you transfer over to these calibrated plates, it might feel a bit heavier for you, especially for squat and deadlift. Bench, maybe not as much. That's definitely something to consider. And if you have access to these competition plates, would train on them, because you're going to replicate what you're doing in the gym in a meet. So that's been like the biggest game changer for me, for like training wise, just because I didn't necessarily have a great track record in meets, like hitting all my lifts. But now it's definitely like better, just because I can, I guess, predict easier like how the weight's going to be feeling, just because I'm trained to competition standard. So the narrower you're able to bring in your grip, in my opinion, the better. It's just whatever your shoulder mobility is going to allow. The reason why narrower is better, in my opinion, is It really helps, I guess, keep the bar in place on your back, and it's really going to reinforce that upper back tightness that you're trying to achieve, really, I guess, pinching your scapula. If you think about it, if you're going wider, you're gonna have to work harder to keep your back tight, but if your hands are narrower, it's going to kind of do the work for you. So when your upper back's tight, your chest is gonna push out too. So that's a big thing with, I guess, the lift in general. After I get my hands in place, I get under the bar. I'm digging the bar into my rear delts. I do kind of like a intermediate bar position, I guess you could say. There's either high bar or low bar you can do. I'm probably a little bit on the higher side of low bar, so that's why I say intermediate. So like basically with high bar squats, it's going to be a lot of like anterior chain quad dominant movement. When you're squatting high bar, you really have to almost think like you're sitting straight down in a chair below you. With low bar, it's going to incorporate a little more posterior chain, so you're almost thinking like you're sitting your hips back behind you, versus high bar straight down below you. So basically with low bar, you're initiating the descent, setting your hips back. With high bar, you're initiating the descent, bringing your knees forward. So it's a more upright movement, and like I said, it's going to be more quad dominant, and low bar is going to be more like, it's gonna allow you to add some more posterior chain, so glute, back, hamstring to the movement. So for powerlifting, low bar is really like the optimal, I guess, choice, or is the better of the two choices, just because you're a lot of times going to get more power in the lift, if that makes sense, because there's more muscle groups working, firing. So, and of course, like the shoes are also gonna change your leverages, like a heel versus flats. I wear a heeled shoe just because I have poor ankle dorsiflexion, so it allows for me to hit depth easier versus wearing flats. I really don't, you know, it's not going to put your feet at that elevated, your heels in an elevated position to, I guess, allow you to go deep as easily. So starting out, I get my hands in position. I get onto the bar and I'm digging the bar into my rear delts. I'm making sure, as I stand up, I'm not letting the bar sit there. I'm making sure I'm pulling the bar into my back, which will in turn make sure my back's taking the load and not my wrists. You can strain your wrists pretty easily if you're just gonna let, you know, I don't know however many pounds you have in the bar, just like sit on your hands. And when you're actively trying to pull the bar into your back, it's also gonna help keep your chest out, which is huge, so you don't fall forward. So I take 1 step back, 2 step back, and then readjust the first foot. So you don't want to take too many steps. You don't want to like overexert yourself on the walkout. You want to conserve as much energy as possible. My stance has really, I guess, widened over time. It's really like all about personal preference. I found that I'm able to push a little bit more weight, going a little bit wider versus narrower. Don't get me wrong, I have done that. But typically, as you go low bar, your stance is going to be a bit wider than high bar, a bit narrower. So we'll roll. 1 step, 2 step, readjust. And toe angles, all personal preference. I like having mine at a slight angle, not too much. Really just don't try to overthink it. Some people will actually tell you that, like if you're having a hard time deciding where to put your feet, sometimes it helps if you just like look straight forward, don't look down at your feet when you're walking out, and just pick where it's most comfortable. You're constantly thinking, keeping pressure midfoot, and you don't want to fall forward onto your toes, because then that's going to be inefficient, right? If you watch my bar path from the side, it's going to be straight up and down. That's going to be the most efficient. If you're kind of like leaning forward in the hole, you're going to have to like almost like good morning the weight up, and that's again exerting energy that we don't need to be doing, if that makes sense. So making sure you're staying on your midfoot, keeping pressure on your midfoot, making sure you're keeping your chest out, upper back tight, and you're not falling forward. So when you're descending, it's just straight up and down. Now, as I get to heavier weights, you'll notice I will take a long time to get in air. So I'll breathe for, gosh, a couple seconds. I'll brace then against my belt. I'll let the bar settle, because at that point, if you're taking in like so much air, the bar's gonna start shaking, and you don't want to descend when the bar's not, I guess, come to a complete stop. So I'll breathe, brace, wait for the bar to settle, then descend. So breathe, brace, settle, descend. Yeah, breathing's like super important. If your core isn't tight, you're not going to be stable, and overall just not as strong in the lift as you could be, and you will likely fall forward, collapse forward, like kind of like end of good morning the lift, if that makes sense. So what I mean by good morning, I mean like where instead like you want to be like this, you'll fall forward like this. So the idea is like a straight up and down bar path. Felt pretty good. Felt pretty good. Sometimes just gotta get out of my head. I don't normally like squatted out here. So it's just like getting the vibe and don't feel like you have to be quiet. Just start yelling, get intense. Half the time, like your mind like stops you. Oh, that second one was really fast. Things are like a mental game. So like, if you think something's gonna feel bad, it's gonna feel bad. So you have to like get in your mindset and like get your head right, like, and almost like trick yourself like something's gonna feel good, because if you're not thinking that way, you're not gonna perform good. First set I did before this, like, wasn't moving that great. I was in my head, I'm like, gosh, I'm at home. I never squat at home. Like, when I'm at home, I'm feeling relaxed, I'm feeling comfortable, so like I wasn't feeling like I could get like, I guess in with the vibes, like in the moment, like push myself. But this next set, I told myself like, you know, I have the strength. Let's smoke these reps. And like, I don't know, just mindset over, you know, everything. So like, I was able to like turn things around. So like, just because you hit like one bad rep, one bad set, bad, doesn't mean the next has to be that way. You know, make the changes necessary in order to move forward and progress. Yeah. For this video, I hope you guys had fun watching Chloe and I hit some squats, maybe learned a thing or two along the way. I wanted to mention though that I will be at the Arnold. I will be doing a meet and greet at the SPD booth. I don't know exactly what times yet I'll be there. I'll be sure to listen down below. Otherwise, you'll definitely see me in Pod C with the USA Powerlifting area, so stop by and say hi. I won't be competing, but I will be training, so I might see y'all there. And you know, be sure to stop by and say hi. I love it when you guys come up and you know, we can just chat for a bit. Otherwise, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next one. That's gonna be the end for this video. Hope y'all get